From JBS Studios in Greater New York, this is the JBS News Update with Teisha Bader.
I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Thursday, February the 28th, 2019. We open with an announcement today from Israel's Attorney General Avichai Mandelblit of his intent to indict Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu with criminal wrongdoing in 3 separate cases against him: bribery, fraud, and breach of trust, all pending a hearing which Netanyahu can request to contest the planned indictment. This is the first time in Israel's history that a serving prime minister has been told he faces criminal charges, and its impact on Israel's upcoming general elections in April remains to be seen. Mandelblit said he would not pursue legal action against Netanyahu's wife Sarah and son Yair, who had also been suspects in one of the cases. Netanyahu's ruling Likud party called the Attorney General's announcement regarding the Prime Minister political persecution and a witch hunt. They said there is no evidence to support these charges, something Netanyahu has maintained from the start. And staying with the Prime Minister, earlier today, Netanyahu sharply criticized a report from the United Nations against Israel. A 3-person UN Independent Commission of Inquiry presented its findings regarding the riots, what they call protests, last year at the Gaza security fence, presenting them today to the UN Human Rights Council in Geneva, stating that there is evidence that Israel violated international humanitarian law in their response to the riots, claiming IDF soldiers shot protesters who did not pose an imminent threat, and that soldiers knowingly shot journalists and medical personnel, as well as women, children, and people with disabilities. Chair of the commission, Santiago Canton, said some of those violations may constitute war crimes or crimes against humanity. While Prime Minister Netanyahu wrote on social media that Israel rejects outright the UN report, the council, he said, is setting new records for hypocrisy and mendacity out of an obsessive hatred of Israel, the only democracy in the Middle East. And here in the U.S., B'nai B'rith International said the biased outlook of the report was set in advance, noting that the report disregards Hamas terrorism while defaming Israel. B'nai B'rith said Israel has a fundamental right and obligation to defend its civilians and its borders, and it has done so with exceptional care and restraint, writing that the UN Human Rights Council report should be denounced globally as the farce that it is. An explosive balloon device sent over the Gaza border fence yesterday exploded and caused damage to a home in the Eshkol region of southern Israel. No injuries were reported. The IDF responded to the scene and said the device detonated outside the home, shattering a window. In response, last night, Israeli fighter jets and helicopters struck a number of Hamas terror targets in Gaza. A follow-up now to a story we reported to you about earlier this week of hateful vandalism at an elementary school's playground in Queens. New York police said they arrested a suspect in the incident. He is only 12 years old. The boy was charged yesterday with aggravated harassment and released to the custody of his mother. He will appear in court at a later date. U.S. Representatives Nita Lowey, Elliot Engel, Chris Smith, Kay Granger, Ted Deutsch, Randy Weber, Mark Vesey, and Brian Fitzpatrick relaunched the bipartisan task force for combating anti-Semitism in the House of Representatives for the 116th Congress. Co-chairs issued a statement yesterday referencing the deadly Tree of Life shooting last November in Pittsburgh, saying that Congress has an important responsibility to raise awareness of this anti-Jewish bigotry and to condemn and combat it in all its forms. Several items belonging to Holocaust hero Oskar Schindler are going up for auction. The German industrialist saved some 1,200 Jews during the Holocaust. His personal watch, a compass, and 2 fountain pens are among the personal possessions being sold as a package by Boston-based RR Auction through March the 6th. The package is expected to sell for about $25,000. The Paris Center for Peace and Innovation in Jaffa launched its second cycle of Starting Up Together. 40 young aspiring entrepreneurs, equally Jews and Arabs, men and women from across the country, will take part in a 10-week boot camp, which includes personal mentoring. Chemi Peres, who is chairman of the board of directors at the Peres Center and the son of the late Israeli prime minister and center's namesake Shimon Peres, told the Jerusalem Post, in a world which is turning towards combining social impact and investment, diversity, he said, is the main subject that Israel needs to embark on. Well, a stone from Masada has been returned to the historic fortress over 3 decades since it was taken. Israel's public broadcaster Khan said a package addressed simply to Mount Masada, southern Israel, took 3 years to reach its destination, accompanied by an anonymous note of apology from a tourist from New Zealand who said they took the stone 35 years ago when they were young and silly and now wanted to apologize and return the items to its rightful place, realizing its historical and spiritual significance. Taking a look now at our programming for tonight on JBS for Thursday, February the 28th. At 7 o'clock, it's Talmud Study. At 8, Episode 3 of the award-winning Israeli series, A Touch Away. At 9, Mark Golub sits down with Rabbi David Elizri, National Chabad Liaison to the Jewish Federations of North America, who shares his perspective on Chabad philosophy regarding non-Orthodox Jews. At 10:30, documentary filmmaker Manfred Kirchheimer is featured on Jewish Cinematheque. And coming up right after this newscast tonight at 6:30, it's In the News with Mark Golub. And that's the JBS News Update for Thursday, February the 28th, 2019. I'm Teisha Bader.